Hello, good morning. Friday, the 1st of August. Hey, new month. And we are almost done with this scene. We've got a couple more drawings to color and finish, and then we'll start on the very next scene. So, let's see here. Up to our top layer, we will add a drawing, and we will proceed to ink. Okay, ink line on the face. We will make our image bigger so that we can see it better. Make sure we have our setting for the ink line to be on a solid color, and proceed to ink. Yeah. I've sort of used in the past, and I've done this quite a bit actually. I've used inking as a means to do cleanup sometimes because I found that my cleanup line and my ink line are so close to each other. They're so similar that in a sense it actually is just another way for me to clean up my drawing. So I take advantage of that. I figure, well, what the heck, I might as well, you know, if it works in your favor, you might as well do it that way. So sometimes if I get to a part of a character where I've made the drawing kind of rough, like I did with the hands on her, then since I did the animation, or I did the original drawing, I know what it was I was trying to accomplish there. So when I do the ink line, I'm revisiting what I did with the animation. So you know that's the beauty of cleaning up your own stuff. Is you know what you were trying to do when you initially animated it. So when you're doing the ink line, you're just finalizing what you started. So, big surprise. Not a big surprise, really. I'm keeping the background um, behind our characters white, so um, I'm not using white to delineate anything, because since the background's going to be white anyway, I'm just going to ignore uh, creating anything, since I don't think it matters. Let's see. Okay. There I was just picking certain parts of the character to be above the line. It's behind. Maybe that should be in front. Um, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, it's going to depend, it's going to vary how you're choosing to have a line work behind something or in front of it, depending on what you're trying to, how you want the line to look um, as you're finishing off the cleanup. Let's see. If you want something to be in the front, you know, realize then that as you are making that decision, think about what your line is going to cover. You know, what is it? What is it covering? Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Let's see. Here. Um, you're not going to get your lines perfect all the time. Just get accustomed to the idea that you're going to be making mistakes probably. Your lines are probably not going to be where you want them to be in every situation. That's just the nature of the beast. Um, yeah, yeah, it goes with the territory. It's just the way it is. And you have some things that are working behind the line and some things that are working in front of it. Like, see here, I had to change that setting now to get everything behind the line instead of in front of it. So, let's see. Okay, so we got that painted. Paint bucket, we'll go with the flesh first. Okay, hair. Shirt. Brush. Paint. Underneath shirt. Oh, I didn't catch that flesh. There's flesh. And there's the pants again. Okay. This might be a real short video today because once I finish the painting, which is going to be this next frame, then I think I'm going to have to stop after that because starting a new scene, I don't really have a plan right yet. So there we go. All right, so here's our last frame. So let's see, we'll add after. Okay, let's see. It's 200. Oh, was that? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Oh, that's weird. Looks like the hand kind of turned. Well, isn't that weird? Strange. Let's see. Looks like the hand turned the wrong way. Like the thumb should be going this way. See, here's a good example of sometimes you'd make a change. See, like the hand was that way, but you can see the way I had it in the rough, it was wrong. Yeah. So I will make these kinds of changes even when I'm cleaning something up. Now, if someone were helping me, they probably wouldn't do that, and they probably just follow my mistake. And a lot of times, the crazy thing about mistakes is that, especially because a lot of times the mistakes are only a frame, one of a, say 1/12 or 1/24 of a second. That's the beauty of animation is that, yeah, sometimes you may be dealing with a situation like that, where it's just going to go by so quickly that you're not going to see it anyway. So sometimes it's like it works in your favor. That mistakes like that happen because you end up making up for them because you don't have to worry because it's gonna go by so fast you're not gonna see it. But it isn't something you can always count on because in some cases things will pop. You get accustomed to seeing mistakes in your animation anyway. As an animator, that's normal. You would see your own mistakes, where say someone else might not see them, or another animator might see them because they are trained like you to be able to recognize a frame when they see it. So, situations like that. Um, but basically, we're doing what we do for the public. We're not doing it for people who are seasoned in the business. Though, it would be like going to a concert and listening to music. And if you went to the concert and you had a bunch of musicians listening to the music, they're going to have a very different reaction to the music than, say, a layman would, who just goes to hear the music because they like that particular, um, artist. Someone who is a seasoned musician might be might be very critical, for instance, of his colleague, and hear something in the music that the average person would never hear. And it's the same thing I think with animation. We can, those of us who work in the business are going to be more adept to notice errors. I think I mentioned that when I was working at Disney back in the day, that we would have, I remember Eric Goldberg would have these, I'm not Eric Goldberg, but Eric Larson would have these screenings of old Disney films, and there was always people there who would be um, criticizing the old Disney animation and picking out the mistakes, which always used to kind of rankle me personally. I didn't like it, but as the longer I worked for the studio, the more I realized that the our ability to see these mistakes, it just kind of came with the territory. It was like, oh, and you recognize the fact that it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Of course, they're going to notice um, the mistakes because this is what we do. This is what we spend our whole day doing is animating and making these pinpoint accurate corrections. We're constantly paying attention to little details, and the average person wouldn't even see it. But we see it because we're trained to see a 24th of a second, whereas the audience isn't. But the advantage of that, of course, is that because we can see or we can pick out a 24th of a second, the beauty of that is that means that probably we're going to make some pretty good choices um, as far as um, you know the quality that we're going to be putting into what we do, because we're going to be able to see little mistakes. Well, more than likely are going to fix those mistakes instead of letting them just kind of slip through the cracks. So while it's a little frustrating sometimes to um, see people take apart the things that you love because they're being picky about whatever. On the other side of that, it's kind of nice because it sort of points out that we are really good at what we do to the point that we are able to see those errors and fix them. And that has a lot of advantages. All right. Well, we got our little girl all done. There she goes. She looks like she's having fun. Okay, folks, so we're all done with this scene. We're going to stop here. This is a short video today. So this being that it's Friday, the weekend is upon us, so the weekend starts here. All right, so we'll pick up on Monday with the new scene. We'll start to work out our next scene. And there you go. So have a good weekend, folks. I'll see you on Monday. And remember, Jesus is Lord.